And welcome, degenerates, weirdos, and you oddballs online, Vatniks, pro-Trumpists, and people who are kind of dumb in general. Welcome to the War Zone. I'm Scruffy, and this is Scruffy Tales. And I mean, this is some really weird shit to be talking about. The United States threatening Denmark. In fucking incredible. But I guess we're gonna have to do it because it involves military force, and that kind of leaves an opening for my channel to talk about it. Uh, simply because it involves military force, and it also involves Denmark, a Scandinavian country. I'm Scandinavian. I mean, I kind of have to talk about it. And the threat is real, and we'll explore why the threat is real and what the fuck is going on in the United States. So here's the basics of it. Over here you have Denmark. Over here you have Greenland. This is it's really the size of Mexico, but when you do the globe and everything stretches out and you make a flat map, it just grows in size. But I think it's in reality something like the size of Mexico. Down here you have United States, and here you have Washington. And well, Washington, United States, Trump, they want Greenland for security concerns. And, well, there are a number of logical reasons for this. In a nuclear war, you fire north above the top of the world, so you come down on the far end of the world where you have Russia. So, having the capability of engaging incoming nuclear missiles up here is kind of important. And if you can put up those defenses on Greenland instead of down here around Chicago, you get the point. It's better. Much better. Also, if you want to launch nukes at the enemy, it's a much closer ride for the missile in question if it's launched from Greenland instead of from Chicago or New York, right? It makes sense, doesn't it? So for that reason, why not? It's the reason why the United States back in the day put missiles in Turkey, and why the Russians got upset about it and placed missiles, or tried to place missiles on Cuba in retaliation. You want a good position for your missiles, in other words. And it makes sense. It makes logical sense. The problem for the United States is, though, that it is a country, actually. This country is as a part of the Danish kingdom, an autonomous state within the kingdom of Denmark. I guess kind of like Wales and Scotland within the United Kingdom, sort of. If any Brits or Welsh or or Scots are watching this, please correct me if I'm wrong. But it's kind of that deal. So you can't just move in and build shit. Even though the Danes have allowed the United States to build shit, there's a big base up here. There are like big bases. There are like mines and shit. It's not like Denmark is telling the United States you can't do anything up here. They are inviting them in to do stuff. What else? And yeah, with the Arctic and the North Pole and everything melting, because climate change is not real, as some people claim. But despite that, we see trade lanes opening up in the Arctic. Fishing waters are opening up because there's not that much ice anymore. But remember, there is no climate change. Yet we're getting fresh new fishing waters, new trade lanes where we can bypass the dangerous ice and what have you. And also, you have a lot of valuable resources, minerals, potentially oil and gas. Who knows what's up here? Uh, Large wealth underground, in other words. So there are economical reasons to control Greenland. And also, Russia and China are moving around up here. Uh, Maybe not at the moment, but maybe in the future, maybe in 30 years when the ice is gone completely, and well, all of this here is underwater, then maybe we will see Chinese vessels moving around more frequently up here. So there are those concerns that maybe Russia and China will be in control of these waters if nothing is done, right? So that is the main logical issues for the United States. This is a very good spot to place missiles and to place missile defenses. It's a massive source of money and income for anyone that can exploit the minerals and resources underground, and you have trading lanes. You can make money from trade, controlling these waters, and you can make money from fishing. And people like to fish because, you know what? People like food. This is a cash cow. Plus, it also allows you to keep an eye on enemy ships and vessels utilizing these waters. So it all makes sense for the United States to want to have a presence on Greenland. The problem is the way they're going about it. So here we have, I'm gonna be using Wikipedia because I can't bother going to any other site. So we have Wikipedia here, and Greenlandic independence. Yes, that is a thing, that is a movement. Denmark has gradually allowed Greenland to basically every decade become more and more autonomous until the point where it is a sovereign, or not sovereign, but an autonomous nation within the Kingdom of Denmark. And in 2009, they were given the choice to hold a referendum for independence if they wanted so. They haven't yet, but there is a strong support for independence on Greenland. The issue is, though, that the Greenlanders, they're kind of pragmatic about it because they realize we just don't want independence if it's gonna fuck things up. If it lowers our living standards, there is no benefit to being independent from Denmark. So they haven't had a referendum for independence. Because of that, they have been worried that it will affect their daily lives and lower their living standards. But it so happens that right now the movement has gained traction, not because of the United States, but because of I'm thinking the Greenlanders themselves have, I think we can actually figure this out and handle it. So for the first time since 2009, the pro-independence Prime Minister Mette Borup said that, I'm sorry for butchering the name, I can barely pronounce Danish, and here we have Greenland Danish. Anyway, said that work has already begun on creating the framework for Greenland as an independent state. And they hinted that an independence referendum, the very first, could take place in April in 2025 in tandem with the general elections. Right? So the Greenlanders, they were in a pretty good mood. They're like, yeah, I think it's time. We can do this. But then something happened. However, after American President-elect Trump renewed his demand for ownership of Greenland, Egede played down any notion of immediate independence and instead stressed the need for reforms of the cooperation between the governments of Denmark and Greenland. I wonder why, at a press conference in Copenhagen. And in an interview on Fox News, Egede stated that Greenlanders have no wish to become a part of the US. Okay, so there you have it. So let's take this. If the United States well and truly wanted to have an influence on Greenland, you know what they could have done? They could have supported this. They could have become Trump is the great negotiator. He could have become the negotiating part between Greenland and Denmark, helping them sort things out to ensure Greenland becomes independent, and at the same time making deals that favor the United States. Hey, you are a small country. You have 50,000 citizens. That means you probably want protection from Russia. How about we place American bases all over Greenland and ensure your safety, and that will also ensure American safety? I mean, Greenland would get a, well, free, would it be free, but would get the world's greatest military power to protect them. And I guess in return, it would allow US companies to exploit some of the resources in and around Greenland. Seems like the peaceful diplomatic solution to Greenland's ambitions, to United States ambitions, and to the fact that Denmark has for several years and decades been fine with Greenland discussing independence and becoming independent. But that is not the pathway that the United States has chosen, is it? Diplomacy, peace, cooperation? No, 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 no. That is not how Trump does things, is it? Because what is it that the United States has done? Well, they have asked Denmark if they could purchase Greenland. Real estate, right? That just happens to involve 50,000 people. That get bunched into the deal somehow, I guess. So you do understand that when they say they want to buy Greenland, that involves basically buying the people living there. Because they're not working together with the people living there, right? They're going over their heads. It's not like, oh, you want independence? Let's help you gain independence and then work out a deal. No, no. We will buy the land you live on. And hey, if you want to stay or not, that's up to you. But you don't own your own land anymore at all. All the autonomy that Denmark gave you, we'll see if that is still a thing or not. Right? That's not the diplomatic, peaceful solution, I feel. Treating Greenland and the indigenous population like, well, Native Americans. Hey, we're going to take all your land, all your resources, and then we're going to put you in a nice, tiny little reservation. How about that? No, I mean, fuck's sake, you can't be serious about buying a piece of land that Denmark considers, well, it is kind of an autonomous country that we are sort of in charge of to protect and look after. And if they want, they can be independent. And then you can't come, well, we're going to buy that from you. And we're going to buy the people living there as well. How about that? Or you could talk to them, see if they want to become independent and enjoy your help in becoming independent and all your resources and helping them develop their own country. No, no, no. We're going to buy them. Straight up. Okay. And when the Greenlanders and the Danes said, nah, not taking that deal, what has the United States been talking about? Military coercion. Economical coercion. Right? Forcing Denmark to give up Greenland to the United States, forcing the Greenlanders themselves to give up their autonomy to become a part of the United States, to become under the rule of the United States. Military coercion, military force. We're talking invasion and occupation in the extreme end of that spectrum. Right? Remember, the Greenlanders were thinking about independence, standing on their own legs, making their own decisions. United States could have very easily helped out with that and gotten a good deal in return. But no, no. United States is not interested in that. They don't want to cooperate with the indigenous people of Greenland. They don't want to have to make a deal with indigenous people of Greenland. They want to own and control Greenland. They want to own and control all the vast resources, all the fishing waters, all the trade lanes, and they want to be able to fortify Greenland to threaten any and all potential enemies on the far side of the globe, like Russia and China. Right? That is what they're after. This is not a peaceful negotiation. This is not a peaceful cooperation. This is the threat of a hostile takeover, the threat of force, the threat of military force. And, if a country threatens another country with military force, that kind of makes them an enemy, right? The United States, if they are not officially an enemy of Denmark at this point, they are damn near being a outright enemy of Denmark, threatening with military force to invade and occupy territory that so far belongs to Denmark. That well and truly does belong to the people of Greenland, without caring for what the Greenlanders think. They ignore it. Right? It's this kind of talk, the threat of military coercion, only comes from leaders who are dictators, tyrants, and fascists. I mean, if you take issue with my choice of words here, what's the difference from Russia grabbing Crimea? Right? It was in Russia's security interest to control Crimea, even though international borders that Russia had signed clearly said that Crimea belonged to Ukraine. Right? They grabbed it. And everyone was pretty much in agreement that was a douchebag move. What if Gotland, if Russia wants Scotland, if Russia made a move on Gotland, everyone would be pretty much clear on the matter that that would be a douchebag move, and Sweden and the Nordics and everyone else should retaliate to defend Gotland. Same with Åland and Finland, right? Bornholm and Denmark. This is Sweden down here, by the way, but Bornholm, Gotland. If anything happened up here from Russia, everyone would say that would be tyrannical, that would be fascist, and the world needs to respond and help defend these islands, right? What if the United States or Russia, what if Russia wants Svalbard from Norway? Should we act and help Norway defend these territories? What if Russia wants Greenland? Of course, the United States will step in. You can't have Russians on Greenland. But what if the United States wants Greenland? What if the United States thinks they need Svalbard? Or even Iceland. Iceland doesn't have a military. They're like 500,000 people and not a single soldier on the entire island. Is Iceland vital for US security purposes or interests? Is Svalbard vital for US security concerns? Where does it end? Why should we surrender territory that rightfully belongs to us due to hundreds of years of internationally agreed borders? Right? Isn't it weird that Americans think that this should be theirs by military force, but at the same time, it was a dick move by Russia to take Crimea. Threatening Gotland would be a dick move. Threatening Åland would be a dick move. Threatening Svalbard would be a dick move. But no, not when the United States does it. No, not at all. Not a dick move at all to threaten an ally at that with military force to confiscate territory, invasion and occupation. And we should take the threat seriously. They keep repeating it. Here we have Rubio, like, this is not a joke. This is in our national interest and it needs to be solved. This is not about acquiring land for the purpose of acquiring land, right? They want Greenland. They have not ruled out military coercion. J.D. Vance, Vice President, accuses Denmark of not being a good ally of the US in letting China and Russia make use of it. What do you mean make use of Greenland? It's just bullshit. And he told Fox News that they may have to look into more closely acquiring territory in and around Greenland if Denmark did not play ball, if Greenland doesn't play ball, right? They have completely ignored the very viable diplomatic option of supporting Greenland's independence and then making a deal with Greenland and leaving Denmark out of it. Instead, they're talking about buying Greenland, stealing Greenland from the indigenous people, ignoring their will for independence, or if that fails, military coercion, relying on military force to invade and occupy and conquer, annex Greenland into the United States. This is no joke. He said it himself. Rubio said so himself. This is not a joke. The threat is real. The United States is threatening Denmark with military action, and they want to invade and occupy Danish territory. They want to invade and occupy Greenland and completely ignore the will of the Greenland people. Now, the threat is real. There is a reason why this threat is so real and why we have to, as Scandinavians, as Nordics, stand, and Europeans, for that, stand together with Denmark and Greenland. And no matter what they choose, if they decide to let Greenland be independent, then we should support that and let Greenland make whatever deals they want with the United States. If Greenland wants to stay with Denmark, we have to stand by Denmark and Greenland in case the United States applies more pressure and increases the threats. And people, the Trumpists, they have been so upset with me because they wonder, why am I calling Trump a fascist? They're like, he's not a fascist. What the hell? Why are you saying that? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look why I'm saying this. First off, let's see here. Fascism rejects the view that violence is inherently negative or pointless, but rather views imperialism, political violence, and war as a means to national rejuvenation. They have pardoned violent people who took part in an insurrection to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. Political violence. He pardoned that shit. And he's threatening Panama and Greenland with military force. Okay, war and violence, imperialism, political. National. Right. It kind of ticks the box there that they think violence is a good thing. They pardoned violent people who took part in an insurrection to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. And they are threatening with military force against Greenland and Panama. Right? Imperialism. Fascists often advocate for the establishment of a totalitarian one-party state. And Trump has on camera said that after this election, people will never have to vote again. He encouraged people to vote for him. And he said, if you do that, you will probably never have to vote ever again. Weird. Right? I don't know. So kinda ticking that box. And for what is this word? Dirigist economy. They advocate for it. A market economy in which the state plays a strong directive role through economic interventionist policies. With the principal goal of achieving autarky, national economic self-sufficiency. Okay. So what is this dirigisme? French diriger, to direct, is an economic doctrine in which the state plays a strong directive policies role, contrary to a merely regulatory or non-interventionist role over a market economy. As an economic doctrine, dirigisme is the opposite of laissez-faire, more French, stressing a positive role for state intervention in curbing productive inefficiencies and market failures. State-directed investments and what? Okay. Inefficiencies. What is Elon Musk doing? What is he the head of? Right? Looking for inefficiencies, market failures, curbing productive inefficiencies, curbing inefficiencies within the government. Right? Kind of fits, doesn't it? Maybe not 100%, but still. You see, fascism, they like to find and sort out inefficiencies in the economy to the extreme. And here yeah. And I mean, take a look at this here. It says here, for instance, exactly, ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing an initial, right? Radical and wasteful inefficiencies. They don't like it. So it kind of ticks the box, right? And fascism's extreme authoritarianism, nationalism centers around their own group, but that can manifest as a belief in manifest destiny, revival of historical greatness. Make America great again. Okay, so we check that box as well, right? Revival of historical greatness. Make America great again. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 out of these 6 boxes I have ticks here. 4 of 6 so far. Okay. Moving on. Or in the case of Nazism, racial purity or a master race. This is not yet. I mean, they have diversity within the Trump team, absolutely, but blended with some variant of racism or discrimination against a demonized other, such as Jews, homosexuals. Yeah. Clearly, this is a thing. Demonizing transgender people. Oh, definitely. Ethnic minorities or immigrants. So, yeah. And it has removed laws protecting minorities. Laws that protected people from discrimination. Those laws have been removed. Laws in place since the 1960s to ensure you could not, as an employer, discriminate a person of color, a woman, or a person of a different sexuality. Those laws have been removed. That have been in place since the 60s. Discrimination against a demonized other. Homosexuals, transgenders, ethnic minorities, immigrants. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still don't think this is a thing here, this here. Okay, I'll take a look at this here. Now, that year by the command element, director, and special officer are also paused. These are put on hold. Right? These holidays are now put on hold. These include observances related to the following: Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, his birthday, Black History Month, Women's History Month, Holocaust Day, Days of Remembrance, Holocaust Days of Remembrance, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Pride, Juneteenth, Women's Equality Day, National Hispanic Heritage Month, National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and National American Indian Heritage Month. because ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs. January 20, 2025. DIA will pause all activities and events related to what you have here. So, discrimination, racism, demonized other, right? And the guy in charge of this is this guy. Trump is in close partnership with a man who openly supports neo-Nazis, waves his hand around like he is one of them, openly supports the neo-Nazi party in Germany. And yeah, that's why I think Trump and his cohorts are fascists. Because they want to They want to revive historical greatness, right? They want to expand US territory by military means. They have hinted that, people don't have to vote ever again. One-party state. They have pardoned violent people who took part in an insurrection against the government of the United States. Against the democratic process. They took part in an assault against the democratic process. An assault that favored Trump. And he pardoned them. They are removing laws protecting minorities. They are removing holidays highlighting the plight of minorities. And they are in a close partnership at the highest level with a man who openly supports neo-Nazis. And, they sure like to go after inefficiencies, radical and wasteful government programs. That is why I think they are fascists. And that is why I think the world needs to stand up and oppose Donald Trump, because he's a tyrant. And I'm gonna finish off the video here with a tune I've been playing around with. Figured I was gonna do a video highlighting the Swedish military and using this tune to accompany it, but I might as well throw it in here. Because we in the North, we need to stand strong. We need to stand together for what's right and for values, for liberties. And we, just as we can't let Russia bully us around in the East, we can't let the United States bully us around in the West.
Oh, you're old and you're free, you mountainous north. You who sit on a throne made from memories of distant and glorious days. Land of the midnight sun, land of the endless night, home to a people who will never surrender, who will always carry on the fight till Valhalla. This is our home where we were born, where we will die. Here where we believe in freedom for one and all. Here are welcome. This is our creed, our soul, our call. For all men and women, united with pride, we stand tall till Valhalla. Ancient forests, snowy mountains, and icy winds, home to warriors and soldiers that defied all the odds, that defied mighty armies and all the cruel gods. Heed our war cry, centuries old, Gopalmarsh, onward to victory we charge. Gopalmarsh, land of freedom, land of courage, where the mighty Bofors was forged, where the powerful Carl Gustav first roared, where furious dragons guard in the sky. enemy will find nothing but ash and blood. Let Fria Kriget begin. We will fight through the ice, fire and mud, as our banners burn and fall and hit the ground. This is when our war cry will with a mighty thunder sound. Salvo! From the age of long ships and shield walls, when we set sail to raid and plunder, to the empire's muskets and bayonets, when our charge tore the enemy asunder, to the bitter cold of the winter war, when our guns echoed like thunder, to the heat and jungles of the Congo, when our morals refused to go down and under, till Valhalla. Till Valhalla. United we stand, united we fight, united